This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis Ferreira, Margaret, Big C, Bennett Williamson, Dylan C, Hannah Green, Noralia, Geof Searles, Erik Reed, Greysin Ishara, Ashlee Bradley, and Laura Lewis. Before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Brent and Lisa Lennox to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it.
This is Uno Bloody Nemesta, and you're listening to the Goat Kissers from the Wheel Weaves podcast.
In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 38 of The Gathering Storm.
Yeah, Chapter 38 is News in Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a cliffhanger, okay?
Oh, yeah. I have some, I guess, speculating to do. I feel like it's a pretty huge reveal.
I mean, maybe, but I want to hear that because it's a clip. We got to get there first.
I know.
And stuff happens before that even happens.
My favorite thing about yesterday was you were doing your notes, and I was like, what happens in this chapter again? And you're like, Egwene perspective. It's called News in Tel'aran'rhiod. And I was like, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did that happen? And I was like, I've gone the whole week without reading it, and it's because we've been busy.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say anything because you're like, what happened? It's like, how do you not remember what happened this chapter? It's like a really big, important thing.
I didn't read it.
Yes, okay.
And then didn't realize I didn't read it.
But officially, you did read it today.
I read it, yep.
And it's fresh.
It's fresh.
Fresh, okay, that's good.
And I also did some listening back to some earlier episodes, but I'm going to talk about that later.
When we get there.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got to hear the speculation.
I didn't find anything.
I want to see where you land on this whole, what's going down.
What do you mean where I land?
I don't know.
I didn't know it was up for debate.
Of course it's up for debate. Everything is up for debate. So anyways, I'm going to jump into my fun fact here, then we can settle the debate later.
I don't think there's a debate.
So,
go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about Varen Mathwin.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled some real world inspiration from the What Origins book on this one, and then I went a little bit too far down the internet hole. So I learned some things, and now you get to learn some things too. Kind of crazy stories from 1611. So a long time ago.
Well, one of the episodes that I listened to just today, it was the first one I pulled up. It's the last episode of The Great Hunt.
Okay.
And that's where you share your Min God fact.
Oh, nice.
In case you're wondering where that is, last episode of The Great Hunt.
Yeah, awesome. That's a good one. Anyways, this one, less so about penises. Not completely not about it, but
interesting.
Yeah, adjacent here. So in 1611, there's a city in France called Aix-en-Provence.
Of course there is, yeah.
And in 1611, there were a whole bunch of people claiming to be possessed by demons. There's an entire Wikipedia page about possessions in this city.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a priest named Father Louis Gaufridi. He was accused and convicted of causing the possessions by making a pact with the devil, and then he was tortured and then executed.
Good.
And this led to a bunch of witch burnings. Here's the thing, though. I don't actually think they were really possessions.
What?
There's a whole story here. I'm going to take you through the highlights.
How dare you?
The highlights here of this story. So we're going to back up a little bit here. More likely than the whole possession thing, the priest was likely involved in an intimate relationship with a young woman named de Mandol. Anyways, so this is the first lady involved in this story. She confessed to the act of intimacy to his superior, the priest, and then he denied it, and then a couple of years go by, and then she starts having convulsions, and then it seems like it's contagious because apparently it spread to a few other nuns, and then they tried to perform exorcisms on them, but they were unsuccessful.
They didn't work?
It didn't work. So this woman, de Mandol, and then another woman who's more relevant here to the whole Varen Mathwin thing, her name is Capot. So the two of them went for more exorcisms, And apparently these two women appear to be trying to like outdo each other in the exorcisms, because Capo would speak in a deep bass voice, and then Demando would scream obscenities, and everyone was convinced that they were possessed. But then it gets pretty into the weeds and the details of like what happens and going back and forth. But apparently Capo, the second lady here, she claims that she was possessed by a devil named Verin.
Okay.
Spelt Verrine. So a little bit different. But then when she was caught in a bunch of inconsistent statements, she would respond by saying, the devil is the father of lies. So pretty solid there. And then eventually the priest guy, he was tortured and forced to confess, and then he was pretty brutally executed. But then after the execution, Demando, the first lady, who had the intimacies with him, apparently she was free of the possessions afterwards. Like as soon as he was executed, she's fine.
Amazing.
Capo, the one possessed by Verin, the devil, not so much. She was possessed until she died, and she also accused the blind girl, who was also executed, of being responsible for the possessions. Anyways, so it got pretty messy there.
Whoa.
But Verin is
Wild. Wild.
the name is there.
Sure.
And apparently that's where it was drawn from. Now, with the last name, Mathwin, Verin Mathwin, that last name comes from, it's a Welsh guy, an important king in Welsh mythology, so it's like really hard to pronounce.
No, don't
Mathwin.
try. You need to not even
He's a
try
king
it.
from the Gwynedd in the Welsh, okay.
Wow, yep.
Anyways, apparently, RJ liked the name, the Mathwin, so that's where the last name comes from.
Sure.
Yeah. Highlights from his story.
Nope, I don't care.
He was known for needing to rest his feet in the lap of a virgin unless he was at war, or he would die.
What?
Yeah. Crazy. Welsh mythology.
Okay.
That's where it is. Okay.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Not a lot of similarities to Verin's story, I don't think, but
You know?
that's where her name comes from.
Yep. Neat.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now we all know that.
We all learned something today.
All right, so we are going to talk about Chapter 38, News in Tel'aran'rhiod. The chapter symbol is the Tel'aran'rhiod symbol.
Yes, the ring, the dream terangriel, if you will.
Terangriel.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in Egwene's perspective, and she is having a meeting with Swan in Tel'aran'rhiod. And Swan is doing her best to convince Egwene that it's time for a rescue.
Yeah.
Aren't you sure? Are you sure? What's going on? We need to come get you.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the last time we saw Egwene, but there was that whole dinner party fiasco.
Yeah.
And then Elida flipped out and like smashed her against the glass and beat the crap out of her.
Yeah, with the power.
Yeah, and then put her in a cell.
Yep.
So that's what we're referring to. Like, hey, you're rotting in a cell.
That's right.
Maybe we should get you out.
A box even.
Yeah.
It's small.
It is small. Yeah.
A small box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Swan is saying that there is no sense, and it can't do any good if she's rotting in a cell, and Elida will never let her free after that whole dinner time stunt. But Egwene says no. Being imprisoned here is a win, and if I disappear before Elida's trial, then everything I've worked for will be ruined.
Yeah, so keep in mind, we're trying to get Elida on trial for abusing her power, beating Egwene. Like, we're not even really
We're trying
clear.
to do something. We're
not
just trying
clear
to
about
get
that
her
even.
deposed. Honestly, we're just trying to have people stand up and be like, you're clearly not fit to be an Amerlin. Get out.
Yeah.
That's really what we're hoping for at
That's
this point.
the goal. But, like, we've got no verification from Egwene. Like, we don't know that that's actually for sure happening. Like, she's really hoping it is. And they've said, like, oh, yeah, it seems like that's going to happen. But
Eventually.
yeah, Swan's next point is like, hey, even if this trial actually goes through, it's going to be a big sham. Like, it's not going to be legit.
Yep.
So what's the point here?
Yep. Well, yeah, because Elida had claimed that Egwene is a dark friend, even though there's no actual evidence of that. And then Swan finally wants to point out that in the end of all of this, Elida can sentence Egwene to be executed.
Yeah.
Then what?
Yes. Yeah, and her point now is like, Egwene's like, okay, well, fine. You know what? If it comes to that,
then you can rescue me.
But what happens if things move too fast and we can't rescue
What
you?
happens if we don't have time for that?
Well, then Egwene's like,
my death will still be a victory because I never gave up.
good job, hooray.
Okay.
She never gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swan knows firsthand how fast Elida can move. Like, that's the issue here. We have some real evidence that things can happen quickly here.
That's true.
So
first-hand experience on Swan's end.
Exactly. And I mean, technically, even punishing Elida for this whole, oh, I beat Egwene, whatever, technically, She didn't even break any of Egwene's bones.
No.
And it was the glass that cut her.
Yeah.
Not the power.
Exactly.
I threw you into the mirror. That's not
It's
my fault that you
justified.
got cut.
It's justified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the bleeding is on the inside.
I don't know. What about all the sitters who were clearly very upset by the whole situation?
Yeah.
Just because Elaida can be like, I didn't do anything wrong. The people there witnessed it and feel like it was wrong.
Yeah.
So.
They're moving at the speed at which I said I move.
Okay.
So.
Now, we're going to get a lot of description about this random cobbler's store.
Yeah.
That they're meeting in.
Yeah, the shoe store.
The shoe store.
Yeah.
And
there's
then
like
we
a
get
solid like half a page.
A lot of explanation about how shoes are made.
Mm-hmm.
And how there are sizing shoes and then shoe samples. And then, oh my gosh, it goes on for a long time.
A lot of shoe stuff.
Yeah. And I was like, is this the whole chapter? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
We need to warm up to it.
Yeah, because then eventually we finally get to the big news.
It's pretty big news.
Yeah. Somebody wandered into our camp.
Guess who?
Guess
who
who?
showed up?
Guess who?
Yeah.
Gawain.
It's Gawain, yeah.
It's Gawain. And Egwene's like, oh, I love him so much.
But she keeps her face completely still.
The love of my life.
Doesn't give up anything.
I love him, love him, love him. I'm
yeah.
like, you don't
okay.
even know him.
Okay, so we need to understand
I'm
this
Elsa and she's Anna. You can't marry a man you've just met.
It's like the young person infatuation.
Yeah.
How much do you really know about Gawain? How much time have you actually spent? You like the idea of Gawain.
They made out a couple times, Brett.
I know, but that's the thing. It's like you like the idea of him being a prince.
They also sort of chatted.
They did. That's true. I'll give you that.
And he's attractive.
And, probably pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
And you're kind of friends with his sister, sort of.
Yeah.
You're also kind of the sister's boss now. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic.
That's an odd dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, he's a tool.
Yeah, plus he's in it, but she doesn't know that.
Not yet.
She hasn't seen any of that.
Do you think she'll find out that he's a tool?
Well, if she spends any time with him, then she'll probably be like,
maybe
wow,
not, though. Maybe
this
not.
guy.
Maybe not.
Okay. It's got the dreamy curly
anyway,
locks, right?
Is that what he has?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got like curly, beautiful
Does
locks
he?
of hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Egwene super casually says, "Oh, weird. How about that?
Yeah.
How's he doing? I guess."
Yeah, don't even care, but like I guess
Don't
you
even
can tell
care.
me. Yeah.
And then Swan's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
you suck at this.
That was bad.
Do better."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, is that a test? Is he even there?" She's
Yeah.
like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
he is, but like you gotta
You gotta
do better
do
at
better.
that. Yeah. So we got to do the quick update here on what Gawain's been doing, which is while he showed up, it was a bit of a chaotic whirlwind, and now he's basically staying with Brynn, and he's meeting with Ramonda and Lelaine.
A lot.
Yeah. And they're the obvious powers in the camp, so like that makes sense.
And Gawain showed up apparently because he heard Egwene had been captured.
Yes, she does. We got to make sure Egwene's filled in on what we know. So
yeah, and understandably, Egwene is confused because the last she heard, Gawain had helped Elaida.
Yeah.
And then continued to help the tower.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, because they had that interaction.
Make any sense. Yeah.
They had that meetup in whatever Kyrian way back.
Mm-hmm. So
that is what she knows. And also, we're also confused about what he's doing. I think Gawain's also confused about what he's doing. So nobody's on the same, nobody knows.
No,
he's
true.
doing his best, and it's not good enough.
Okay.
So
now Egwene decides that she wants to meet up with Swan again tomorrow night, and then the hall the night after. And Swan is concerned that it's like too often and too much, and she's like, "Oh, you actually need some good sleep," and blah blah.
Yeah, you're pushing yourself.
And Egwene's like, "This is what I look forward to. This is the only human interaction that I actually get.
Yeah,
where I don't think about my shitty cell."
Well, and she's like literally locked in the cell, except for when she's being beaten, pretty much at this point. Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not tall enough to stand up in.
Yeah,
and it's not long enough to actually lay down in.
Yeah,
like it's actually quite.
Now, it is kind of interesting because this is where...
spot.
So, also, she's not getting healed between beatings, too. So, just as, like, a side note to keep in mind where she is. But then she starts to think, oh, this is similar to what Rand must have gone through.
Yes.
Except, like, from what she's heard...
Rand's was worse.
He did have it worse. Like, it was a smaller cell, box, whatever. Plus, he didn't have anybody to talk to. And I'm like, okay, well, hold up.
He certainly did.
He did. He did have someone to talk to.
But that person didn't always talk back, okay?
That's true.
It was only sometimes he muttered
sometimes
back.
his advice was questionable, you know?
It was good advice. It got them escaped.
It did. It did get them escaped. I'll give you that. So
it helped them to escape. I think
yeah,
that's how
it's
you
like
say
the
that.
guy who you're trapped in the box with is freaking out worse than you are,
Yeah.
and you're the calm one sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Yep.
So, but also on a side note here, Rand also didn't have like a belief that what he was doing was for a bigger picture. Like Egwene has that to fall back on.
She has a whole mission.
Yeah, like I'm doing it because whatever, Amyrlin Seat, Aes Sedai, save the tower, whatever.
Yeah. We also skipped over talking about why she actually secretly chose green. She's like, sure, I like what they stand for, but also they're allowed to marry their warders.
Yeah, and she will marry Gawain, and he will be her warder. Yeah. Yeah, and she was also like, I like how the Greens stand up and fight. And it's like, okay.
No, they don't do that.
What?
I couldn't be a blue. They are so set on one cause. And I'm like, what are you doing right now, Egwene? You're literally so fixated on one single mission and one single cause.
Right.
This is what you're doing.
Yeah, but she really wants to hook up with Gawain again.
And marry him. Marry. Yeah. Not
True.
just hook up with.
Okay.
They already did that in a dream.
Right.
Yeah, I think. It was unclear.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. Pretty sure it happened. We don't know how good it was, but like...
Well, obviously good enough that she's still thinking about him now.
Well,
So,
okay.
Now, before we wrap up the Swan and Egwene conversation, Swan does some very nice complimenting of Egwene's skills.
Yeah, she does.
Yep.
It's like the whole, hey, you deserve this position. And we've actually heard this a couple times where Swan says something like, oh, you actually are the Amyrlin. And Egwene's like, I know I am. I thought you were on the same page.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, I am. But also, like, you're growing into the role.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's more. It's complimenting. That's good.
Yeah.
Plus, Swan is still doing Bryn's laundry. So.
Sure.
And we're not going to talk about it.
No.
Yeah.
Why would we?
Yeah.
It's boring.
The laundry or the...
Both.
The love?
Both.
The love laundry.
Both are boring.
Okay.
Right now at this point.
Okay, well, let's continue and we'll get to the good stuff.
Okay, so Swan leaves Tel'aran'rhiod, and then Egwene considers visiting Elaine, but apparently Elaine can only, like, sometimes maybe make the Tel'aran'rhiod work.
Because she's pregnant.
Because of pregnant, in case you forgot.
Because they're pregnant.
Yeah, and so then Egwene steps into the Rebel Aes Sedai camp, even though it's risky business.
Yeah, well, who knows who's lurking around?
Oh my god, everybody.
Probably everybody.
Except... a bunch of Forsaken now are just wiped off the map, so that's cool.
That's true. That's true. That's good. Right?
Yeah.
We have less to worry about. Not nothing to worry about.
Still got some stuff to worry about.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, she's going to wander around this camp. We get a big description of it, and it's almost recap-y. Like, have we even met up with Egwene this book yet? Like, I don't even really remember the last time we saw her in... Anyway, it feels recap-y that we're like, hey, remember the rebel camp and the new novices?
They're like 40 chapters in, like we've seen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we barely at all got caught up on this because the whole thing that got her into the cell in the first place happened last book.
Well, the whole thing is we're getting recap-y of the rebel camp because I think this is the first time we've seen Egwene visiting the rebel camp. Like, we've been in the rebel camp.
Yeah.
We've been with Egwene. We haven't been with Egwene in the rebel camp. So she's getting to see what it's like now, and the biggest changes are the fact that she can kind of start to see division happening within the rebel camp by like how tents are set up and stuff like that. So she's starting to see division, and she's thinking like, oh no, I think Swan is right. I need to get back here because I don't want the rifts that are in the tower to leak over into the rebel camp. Like we gotta patch this up real quick.
Right. So now at this point, Egwene is gonna do that whole like need to direct her thing.
Yeah, the Tel'aran'rhiod search by need.
Search by need.
What do you need?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something.
I don't know. I need something. So she just sort of like hops around.
Yeah, till she gets to the Tinker Wagons.
Yeah.
This is an interesting bit here.
And she doesn't really know why, and neither do I.
Yeah.
Should I know?
I mean, no, not necessarily.
Okay. I kept waiting for something to happen. This is the part I was reading, and I started to feel scared.
Right.
I started to feel like worried, and I was like, oh no. It really felt like we're going to the murder basement.
Yeah.
We're like, we're going camping in the abandoned cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
Always
feeling I
goes
got
well.
when she was just like wandering around this sort of like quiet tinker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of opens up like a conversation piece here where she does see the traveling people and the wagons, and she's like, oh, they must be like searching for some safety because the last battle's coming. And I don't know if you know this, but like Tinkers don't fight. and then the last battle is like the world's gonna end.
Yeah.
So what are the Tinkers gonna do during the last battle?
Not much.
Well, that's what she's thinking. Is like maybe they're just trying to find safety. And then she's like, "Oh, remember that time when I was dancing with Aram around the campfire? Perrin was being
That
a jelly
guy
monster.
is dead.
Yeah." And then she's like, "Oh, I bet Rain and Isla and Aram are all happy in a camp like this, and it's great."
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, they disowned him.
Yeah.
And then he's dead because he tried to murder
nuts,
Perrin.
And Perrin is
crazy.
a bad mentor, and
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, Perrin did not sign up for the whole Big Brothers thing. Like he was not.
He didn't sign up for it, but when it was thrust upon him, he failed.
Yeah, that's why you're not supposed to thrust that position upon people who don't apply for the job.
Nobody did it on purpose. Sometimes these things just happen, and you either do a good job or you don't, and Perrin did not.
And then Massima, like every other week, he was filling out these applications like, I want to be a mentor, I want to be a mentor. And it's like, Massima, you can't. You can't be a mentor. You didn't pass your background check. You're crazy. Anyways, so that didn't go well.
He was doing it anyway, though.
Yeah, he
without
was.
the background check.
So I'll just find... No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, anyway, that's it.
Yeah, that's
Nothing exciting even happens.
Yeah, no.
I got all worked up and scared for nothing.
That's good. That's good writing right there.
And then it's time for Egwene to leave Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah.
And she does. She wakes up in her cramped cell. Because the writing on it is Egwene opens her eyes and pain explodes or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, why?
It's like, no, she's just cooped up in her little cell.
It's just when she was in Tel'aran'rhiod, she couldn't feel all her pain.
Yeah.
And now she can.
Her muscles are super stiff.
I thought something was happening.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Like a channeling thing, making her like, oh, so much pain.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah,
that's
nothing.
just sword muscles. Like I feel that.
She's just all cramped up in her little cell. And,
that's how I wake up every morning too.
From all the strappings, all the beatings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yeah, but she doesn't do any groaning or complaining. And she does her best to like stretch herself out. And she doesn't want the sisters who are outside holding her bonds to know that she's in pain, I guess. So
yeah, this is her war against Elida.
And she keeps reminding herself that it's her choice to remain locked in this cell.
Yeah.
And she can escape if she wants to.
Yeah. And she does a nice little comparison again. It's like, oh, now her and Rand have another thing in common.
They've both been locked away by Elida.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basic. I think we should take a break because like that's the first half of the chapter, and you know we get a little caught up here.
Yes.
And now the sisters are going to be here.
So basically is just going to wait all morning for her beating to come around noon.
Yeah, and she waits.
And
nothing happens. So
yeah.
But we get there in like a pair. It goes fast.
Yeah.
We don't have to read about the morning with nothing happening.
We just did.
Okay, but besides that.
Okay. No, that's good. And it's good timing too because I need a top up on my drink.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
I got my Empress gin.
Ooh, good. Yeah, it's very purple.
This is my May She Live Forever
drink. That's the gin that I smashed on the floor of the airport.
Not this one.
No, you didn't scoop that up and bring it home.
No.
You got a new bottle.
I got a new one. I got a new one since we've been home.
Yeah. Okay, second half of this chapter.
Yeah.
It's good. It picks up.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's almost like we pick up right where we left off.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. So now a couple of red sisters have come to take Egwene out of her cell and they're about to start her strapping.
Yeah.
And we get a little tidbit that it's almost like the two sisters who are required to keep Egwene's shield up.
Yeah.
Because we got a note that there are always two who are keeping her shield intact in place.
Yeah.
And so they almost get a reward for being the ones who get to beat Egwene when it's beating time.
Why wouldn't you want to be that person?
Yeah, well, they're very excited to do it.
Yeah, they like throw her down on the ground and they do like one of those like test strap.
One of the thing where they're like slaps like on their own hand where they're like, ooh, I'm about to get you.
Getting it warmed up.
Yeah. But then Egwene hears Katarina's voice from outside the cell and says, wait, she is to be released.
Oh.
And the other red sisters are like, what? And like kind of disappointed that they don't get to beat Egwene.
Yeah. Like, what's this about?
And then Katerina says, the Amyrlin realized she's punishing the wrong person. This failure isn't because of this stupid novice. This is because of the one who was supposed to be breaking her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is Sylviana. Yeah, and Egwene puts that together too. So it's like, okay, so she's going to take the fall. Like, Sylviana's going to take the fall for the Egwene
failure.
Yeah.
Quote. Yeah.
Debacle. That's the word.
And it also means that Elida realized she couldn't prove Egwene was a dark friend.
Yeah, so she's just like
and
shifting.
She's like deflecting.
Yeah. We're going to blame it on her now.
And then Katerina announces that from now on, she's only going to be instructed by the new mistress of novices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is?
Katerina.
Great. So I guess Sylviana, like at this point, it's like, okay, Sylviana is no longer in that role.
Right. And then we get this little tidbit that the rest of the tower at this point has been feeling like Sylviana is a very good mistress of novices.
Yeah.
And so
she's like by the book and she's like, you know, good at her job.
And so Egwene is thinking like, how is that going to play out?
Yeah.
That now...
Not well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do like this next little bit because again, Egwene is only working on like partial information here.
Yep.
And in her mind, she really like she digs her heels into some opinions here because like she's getting led back to her room now and she's like, I did it, I won, I did the like I beat the worst thing that Elida could do. Yeah.
I won, I beat her.
Yeah, it's like what? Well, like no, clearly not. Like, sure, you're being released, but, like, what does that mean? And then she starts seeing people, like, see her and then, like, whisper.
Scatter away.
Yeah, and then, like, Aes Sedai are, like, stopping and staring. And then Egwene's like, wait a second. What's actually happening here? Yeah. Like, I've missed something. It's like, yes.
And
yes,
then she
you've
says,
missed something.
Why am I really free?
Yeah. Like, what's actually going on? It's not going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the way to her rooms.
Yeah.
It's the two... Red sisters who are bringing her there.
Yes.
Not Katerina.
Correct.
Katerina has left, I guess.
She's not here. She's not here right now. It's Barrisine, who we know.
And some other.
Some other who Egwene doesn't even know.
Okay. Because then Saorin comes up. And so let me see if I remember. So Saorin is the brown sitter of the hall who is the leader of the Black Aja Hunters.
There you go, Black Aja Hunter lady. Right. That's the one.
And in case anybody missed it, a couple of us at JordanCon, we dressed up as the Black Aja Hunters.
You did? Yeah. It's pretty good.
I was Yukiri.
Yeah.
And I had we had a little magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And we were the Black Aja Hunters Detective Agency.
You guys did a great job. Yeah.
We certainly accosted a lot of people.
You did. There were complaints.
From me? What do you mean, about us? No, there were not.
No, it's good.
Those were dark friends, clearly.
Exactly.
Black Aja.
Yeah.
We made them swear on the oath rod.
Of course they would complain.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
And we'd be like, caught another one, when they wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, where were we? Oh, Saorin.
Okay. Yeah, Saorin intercepts the two Reds leading Egwene.
Wants to talk to Egwene, and Barrisine is like, no, we're taking her to her room.
Yeah.
But Saorin is like, no, I'm a sitter and can do whatever I want.
Yeah, and then Barrisine's like, Amaril's not going to be happy, and then
Saorin's like, go ahead, go tell her then.
Yeah, go run tell her, and in the meantime, I'm going to talk to Egwene. She's my pal.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's got news here, because apparently, and they're like far enough away from the Reds, because Saorin tells the Reds to like back off a little bit.
Yeah.
But they don't, and they're not really whispering. But anyways, so the Red Aja isn't taking the news of Egwene being released very well, and now they see it as a big failure of Elida, because Elida is like scrambling and doing terrible things. And then Egwene's like, oh yeah, like I know about the whole Sylviana being removed thing. And then Saren's like, no, that's not what happened.
That's not how this went down.
Not even at all.
No. It turns out Sylviana was super pissed off that Egwene was being punished like this.
So
this isn't by the book.
Yeah, so what happened was Sylviana went into the full hall while it was sitting, and then she stood in front of everybody, including Elida, and was like, Egwene's treatment is against our law. She needs to be released. And then she denounces Elida and calls for her to be removed as Amyrlin. Yeah. So, like, that's huge. That's what we want.
Go, Sylviana. And that's what Egwene was doing. That's her whole thing, is she needs somebody to do that. Those are the seeds she was planting.
And then Elida was like, I totally understand. I will vacate this position immediately. I don't deserve to be here.
And cool.
Yeah, and it's all good.
Okay, no, though.
Okay, that didn't happen. But Elida...
What did happen?
What did happen was Elida was like, hey, Sylviana, you can be a novice again. And then Sylviana was like, no.
Absolutely not.
And then Elida's like, fine, still been executed.
Yeah.
And then the hall's like, what?
Yeah.
So that's where we are. So we haven't yet still been executed Sylviana.
No.
But that's on the table. And now it's pretty frantic because this like literally just happened. And the hall doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
The Red Aja doesn't know what to do.
Because Sylviana is from the Red.
She's a Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Red Aja's like, no, you can't just still and execute like one of our own.
Yeah, just because she disagrees with you.
Like maybe if it was a different Aja, there'd be less pushback. But since it is a Red and it's Sylviana, like she's pretty highly respected.
Yeah.
Like it's not good.
No.
It's not good.
And Egwene is like, oh my god, we have to stop this from happening. How do we do that? And Tyron's like, well,
We don't have to stop it.
Look at it this way. The Red is crumbling, and her death can be, a real asset to us.
And it's like,
Egwene's
hey.
like, what the fuck? No?
Well, Saren's point is like, hey, after this is all done, you could probably just like dissolve the Red Aja completely. That would be great.
And Egwene's like, absolutely no. This
Yeah.
is the opposite of everything I've been saying.
Right. And it is the opposite of what she's been saying. And also, like, we just need to like shift what the Reds do.
A little bit.
Get some retraining.
She doesn't say that though.
No, she doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
We need everybody.
We need
They
everybody.
all serve a purpose.
Sure.
Even the Reds.
Yeah.
Which, like, no. But go on.
Yeah. Anyways, so Egwene says that the two Reds who are here and overhearing everything, who don't seem to be in the loop on everything because it just happened.
Yeah.
And they've been guarding, I guess, Egwene for the last while.
Well, you skipped ahead a little because Saren goes running off. Like, she leaves.
Oh, yeah. Well, Egwene's like, go fix this. Like, go try and stop the execution from happening. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
But with respect. Like, she's, like, respecting.
She is. Yeah.
Egwene
She does respect Egwene.
She's like, oh, you are the real Amyrlin. It's like everyone's, like, so surprised every
Doesn't
time.
want other sisters executed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's new for us.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So, Saren,
yeah.
whatever.
She leaves. It's just Egwene and the two Reds now.
And then she's like, how much of that did you hear? And then they're like,
all of it.
Yeah. And then she goes, well, don't you want to see what's happening to your Aja right now? And they do, but they're like, we have to watch you.
Right.
And she's like, fine. I promise I won't channel.
It's like, that's not going to be good enough, Egwene. They're not going to take
like,
your word for it.
And then, like, one of them runs off.
Not yet.
Oh, not
Pretty
yet?
soon.
Before or after the Forkroot thing? I thought one ran off before. No?
Yeah, I think, actually, I think the one we don't know, because Egwene doesn't even know her.
No.
Yeah, I think she runs off first.
And then it's Barrisine
is left, yeah.
And then Egwene's like, fine. You, novice.
Get the Forkroot.
Go run and get Forkroot.
Yeah. So she does.
Yeah.
And then it comes back. And then she, like, has to drink the Forkroot. And she's like,
I
fine.
hope this wasn't enough to knock me out.
Yeah. We're just eyeballing the measurements at this point.
So
like,
she drinks it and she's like, your Aja's collapsing. They're going to need all the clear heads they can get. Maybe you can convince your sisters it's a bad idea to let Elida execute Sylviana.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So Barrisine does actually end up leaving. So that's pretty big.
And then Egwene's like, oh my god, I'm just free to go wherever I want and say whatever I want and do
nobody's
whatever I want.
Nobody's
watching me.
She's Forkrooted, but like she's not unconscious yet.
Nope.
So that's good. But let's talk about the Red Aja before we get into this last little tidbit here of the chapter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So thoughts on the whole Elida situation right now? The Red Aja, like clearly a sitter of the, like she thinks that the Reds are crumbling. Elida is on the brink of doing something catastrophic.
I'm for this.
I know you're for it, but like, what do you think is going to happen? What's the outcome here? Is Elida getting removed by her own Aja?
Maybe.
Are we executing Sylviana? Is that going to happen?
We're going to execute Elida.
Perfect. Switch the places. Oh, switcheroo.
Easy.
Yeah.
Except the main thing that I'm actually concerned about here is Black Aja influence.
Well, because Katarina.
Because it's Katarina.
Yeah.
Who comes to do it. Yeah. It feels like this is a bigger plot scheme.
Sure.
At this point, and Sylviana might just be collateral damage.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit. Because they're like, get Egwene out of there.
Yeah.
Keep things chaotic. Sure,
yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah. And, like, what's really going to throw a wrench in the whole, like, tower being functional is executing Sylviana. Like, that's not...
Well, it's... Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, who knows what the actual Black Aja undercover plots are here, too.
Yes.
Because Elida isn't, but, she's just like she's a wrench.
Yeah, I think the whole idea is to get another Black Aja up through the ranks because Alviarin messed up so bad.
Sure.
And so they're like, get another one up there.
Okay.
So maybe that's kind of the point.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
I don't know, though.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's a good thing for us.
What does that look like for you, though?
Oh, I need...
Like, your definition of a good thing might be different.
I've just been waiting for Elida to be pulled down.
So you just want Elida out of here.
In any capacity.
Okay. You just want her gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and when you told me that Spencer was going to be on for chapter 39,
right.
I was like, ooh, I bet that's the chapter that Elida gets pulled down and there's a bunch of tower stuff that happens. Because I know that Spencer's going to want to talk about one of the girls, and I was like, what's interesting about any other girls right now? Not Elaine, not Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Definitely Egwene.
You know, one of these days I'm going to do a switcheroo and I'm going to get Tyler on for
that'll suck.
Egwene, and then Spencer has to talk about Baron.
I don't want to hear Tyler's
They're going to both love that. They're going to be each of their favorite things.
I want to hear Spencer's opinion on Perrin. It's the same as mine. It'll be boring. Anyway, but I was like, ooh, I bet so. But then when this was an Egwene chapter, I was like, wait, what's the next one going to be? So I was thrown off a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a fun lead up. But we're not even there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we're having a big deal of a situation that's going to go down.
Something will happen next chapter.
Elida's in trouble.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay. So anyway, we're back to Egwene being alone in the hallway and able to do whatever she wants. But first, she needs to change because she's still in her like bloody, dirty, sweaty dress that she was in from the night of the dinner party.
Yeah, and like she's not getting healed anymore, so it's like you're gonna bleed. And it's gross, and she's gross, and
she's got to wash herself. So she goes into her quarters and she finds someone else sitting there.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And it's
who is it?
Varen.
It's Varen.
It's Varen.
Yeah.
So Varen has left Matt.
Right.
In Caemlyn, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
She can travel.
She's been trying so hard to get to Tar Valon.
Yeah.
She's been trying for so long.
Yeah.
To get here.
She had like a bunch of letters and notes and stuff too.
She got all kinds of crap.
She's got messages to pass along here.
You know why? Because she's a liar.
Okay.
She's lying like a liar.
Don't jump ahead.
Okay.
Don't jump ahead.
Okay,
don't
fine.
do it.
Well, it's literally right now.
Yeah,
but Varen takes a sip of her own cup of tea.
Yeah.
And says, hello, Egwene. I was wondering if I'd have to break you out of your cell to speak to you.
Yeah, she knows. She knows
and
she's locked away.
And Egwene is a little shocked because she didn't know Varen was even back in the tower.
It's like, when was the last time I even saw
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's like, no time, Varen. No time to talk to you. It's so good.
Yeah, and then Egwene says, I have work to do.
Right.
And then she starts just like getting changed.
Yeah, like picking out the clothes at least here, so...
And then Varen takes another sip of her tea and says, yes, I suspect you do. By the way, that dress you're wearing is green.
Ooh.
And at first I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, so was Egwene. Egwene was like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, because I thought it was like a comment on her like green Aja choice, even though she's not an Aes Sedai, technically.
And Egwene was the same way. She's like, what is she talking about, this crazy old lady?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and she thinks to herself, no, this dress isn't green. What is Varen even talking about? But then she freezes and glances at Varen and thinks, that was a lie. Varen can speak lies.
Whoa.
And then Varen says, yes, I thought that might get your attention. You should sit down. We have much to discuss and little time to do it.
Boom. Cliffhanger. I love it so much.
And I am like, I knew it.
You knew what?
I knew Varen was a dark friend from the moment.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, no. That's not necessarily what this means.
Well, what? She got the oath rod and unoathed herself?
I could totally see Varen doing that. Are you kidding me?
Unoathing herself?
Absolutely, I could see her doing that.
I can't.
Why not?
Because
Varen,
it's against the code.
The person who always knows things? You're just going to throw out a dark friend accusation
I'm not
like that?
just throwing it out. I've been saying it since book 2.
What has she done that would make her a dark friend?
lied. All sorts of stuff.
Lying doesn't
She's
make
like-
you a dark friend, okay?
She's so obsessed with everything that all three boys are doing.
Yeah, sure.
And have
Why
been-
wouldn't you be? She's brown.
No.
You're gonna
that's
have
a
to
ruse. She's
saying that
black.
she's a liar.
She's Black Aja. She's a Black Aja. I've
Just
been
'cause
saying
you
it.
lied doesn't
She
mean
lied.
you're a dark
she
friend.
lied. She lied back in book 2 about Moraine sending her.
Technically, we could find ways around that.
She lied.
Okay.
And Moraine, I listened to that episode today
Yeah.
when Moraine was like, "What? I didn't send Varen anywhere,"
Yeah.
and was confused. And
But
we
there
had a
could
whole
be
conversation.
there could be interpretation
Yeah,
of the wording.
so
you
what
could
I
work your way
did
around
say-
that.
What I did say back in book 2 was it's possible Swan sent Varen, assuming that Moraine would want her to go.
Sure.
You know, under those. And
There
then
are
she's like-
ways to get around
There are ways
that.
to get around, and I did talk about that.
Yeah.
I did say she could be a dark friend, and now I need to listen back to more of those older episodes to find out exactly when I really started talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I can't find it. I don't even know when
Yeah.
that would have been.
There's a lot of books.
Around that time.
But here's the thing, you're not really justifying what she's done to be a dark friend, because just because you can break the oaths and just because you can lie and do lie doesn't mean that you're necessarily a dark friend.
I think that this is a ruse with Katarina. I think that this is obviously a thing they've done together.
You think that Varen's in cahoots with Katarina?
Yeah, because they're forced to be, because they're both Black Aja and they have to listen to their meowsters.
They're meowsters.
You know.
Yeah, cats are evil. Yeah, for sure, I get it. Yeah. The incarnation of the Dark One are cats.
Black ones.
Yes.
The most evil of
The most
all
evil.
animals. The most bad luck of all animals. The
Yeah,
black
you get
cat.
it. You get it. Okay. So are you're legit throwing out the whole like Varen's
When I
dark
read
friend,
those
like,
words,
Black
I was
Aja.
like, I knew it. I felt vindicated.
What about all
Because
the
it has
good she's
been-
done?
It has been
She literally got Matt
years.
cursed by the horn and all the people back from Fum to the tower.
Yeah, great. Let's keep an eye on them. Let's know where they are. And now, where is the horn? Huh? Where's the horn?
We're pretty sure it's in the basement of the tower.
Pretty sure. Yeah, I bet Baron knows exactly where it is.
What are you even saying?
Yeah.
She hasn't even been at the tower. She couldn't even leave. What about
She
all
left
the
with
Matt
it.
stuff?
What about it?
What about all the Matt stuff?
She had the Dark Friend posters. And you know, when I was like, oh, I'm all getting stumbled here. You know, when I was like, hey, that's for sure a Dark Friend who's handing out all those posters.
Well, and then Varen was like, oh, they thought I was a dark friend.
Uh-huh.
It's like, why did they think that, Varen?
Because she's a Dark Friend.
You didn't even say anything about that,
I
though.
did say it, I think.
Nah, you didn't
I have
really
to
say
listen
it.
back because
Gotta
I'm
listen
sure
back.
I was like, remember when I thought Varen was a Dark Friend? It's probably because it's still true.
Right.
I probably said something like that.
Yeah, but I'm not really feeling like, name one bad thing she's done.
Everything that she's
Even
done.
one thing.
Everything that she's done has had an ulterior motive, and that's
She kept
bad.
the whole Moraine and Swan knowing about Randall Thor thing secret. She was part of that.
Did
She's
she
like,
though? Did
oh,
she though?
Just throwing out
Did
accusations.
she though?
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it feels like a draw. It feels like there's no other explanation other than she unoathed herself.
There's a lot of other explanations.
That's it. What other explanation could there be?
She is colorblind and thinks that the dress is green. I don't know.
She's just like convinced herself.
Right.
Yeah.
I found a neat mental trick to convince my thing of things that aren't true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Nope, not that. That's not the one.
No. Unless they want me to believe she's Dark Friend, Black Aja, but actually it's something different, you know?
except the opposite thing. Yeah. I get that.
It's either one thing or the other.
I like it.
Yeah. My heart stance is she's a Dark Friend.
For sure.
And then I'm like, oh man, everybody we've ever known is just a Black Aja.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're screwed.
Yeah, basically.
We're basically just screwed.
It's like way too many
Yeah,
people.
Shariam.
Yeah.
That was a hard one.
A lot of people are joining the club here.
Well, or have already been in the club for a long time.
Club has good perks.
Well, has some perks.
Yeah, well, it's like, hey,
Also a lot of drawbacks.
a lot of drawbacks, but it's like, you might get promotions. You might get to live forever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't want to forget to read.
Right. One chapter.
Yeah.
One chapter.
I think that's what's been throwing me off is I assume I've already read because...
It's only one chapter.
Yeah, and this whole week has been so crazy.
It has been.
Yeah. What with all the moving stuff and house buying and house selling and...
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on in our world.
Yeah.
Hesitant to say too much until it's all finalized, but...
Yeah, hopefully by next episode we'll have some news. Knock on wood.
That wood.
Here we go.
Knock
okay.
on that wood.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then next time's with Spencer.
Yeah.
Cool. Fun.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm excited now.
She is too.
Is she?
No. Yes, of course.
I assume.
Why wouldn't she be?
I assume she's excited.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited. Okay, so before you go ahead and get a get out of jail free card, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett, produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Fouts, Benjamin, Jamie Young, Megan, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Adam, Mozyme, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Colby T, and Gabby Young. With music by Audionautics. Please be sure to check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you. Plus, you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have over 45 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show, like information on how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, you can visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. And if you write us a really nice review and put your Instagram or Twitter handle in the review on Apple Podcasts, we will be picking people at random to be giving out some merchandise like stickers and bookmarks, and we'll send them out to those people as a huge thank you. Now be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.